Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for being here today on our Zoom interview. Obviously, we are Jacobsburger and we are doing exclusively family law in or around the state of New Jersey. But while you and I know each other very well, I don't believe that our viewers have had an opportunity, all of them at least, to meet you personally. So first, I'd like to welcome Michelle Els. She is the co-owner of Pure Space Studio in Long Valley, New Jersey. And again, Michelle, I'd like to thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Sarah.
So, Michelle, why don't you do the honors and have a little opportunity to explain to the Jacobsburger community and all of our colleagues and friends and family and clients how you and I happen to know each other.
We met a number of years ago, a decade or so ago, I want to say, so it's been a while. And Sarah was at first a client of mine. She had sought out a way to add some sort of change to her lifestyle to make her feel fitter. And she had reached out, and I was fortunate enough that I was one of the people that she interviewed, because if you know Sarah well, she doesn't just interview one people, she has to interview about 50, I think it is. Hey, Sarah.
Yeah.
So Sarah and I started working out. We started predominantly with a personal training or one-on-one, and then slowly we integrated her into the studio that I was then working at prior to it being Pure Space, and the rest is history.
So, Michelle, your concentration when I first met you was personal training, but also you are a certified Pilates instructor, correct?
Correct.
And at the time that we met, you were working at, let's call it the same establishment that we're currently discussing.
Correct.
It was under a different name, but you were teaching Pilates and doing some personal training there.
Correct.
And you've been doing that for quite some time.
Yes, I mean, my fitness journey began as a child, but my qualifications in fitness, happened 25 years ago. And it has just progressed. Like anything, you continue to grow within your profession. I never started in Pilates, but that's certainly where I ended up 15 years ago and continued that journey. But you want to try a little bit of everything to try and balance things out as you get older. You start to figure that out as well. So no particular one format is good. It's good to integrate a couple of different ones. And then that's how Pilates became a part of the journey as well. So yes, primarily focusing on that one-on-one instruction. I'd say that still takes up majority of my time. Most of the clients that we have at Pure Space in the Pilates section are looking for that. But then we offer a range of other formats as well, which allow people to try more of the cardiovascular and strength-based formats too. So it gives them a wide range from that sort of stability format to the strength format to a stamina format based on what their needs are as well.
Now, Michelle, you use the word we, and I think anybody who's actually watching this interview live right now can see that I'm wearing a sweatshirt that's labeled Pure Space. You're wearing a sweatshirt that's labeled Pure Space. And while I generally dress up for our Facebook interviews, I think that it probably bears noting that we are both wearing Pure Space sweatshirts because we happen to be co-owners of Pure Space, correct?
That is a very important component of it.
So I know a little bit about what you're explaining, perhaps not from the Pilates side, but maybe more from the cardiovascular and strength training side. I know a little bit about what you're talking about, and I wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to take today, not only to talk about Pure Space as an individual entity and what we offer to the clients that are in the Morris County area, but also more importantly, what COVID and the quarantine that we're currently engaging in has, sort of created for our small business community, and the opportunities that it's created for our home workout environment. So let's talk a little bit first about how Pure Space offers services to everybody in the Morris County area.
Okay. From the virtual perspective is what you're asking now.
Well, most importantly from the brick and mortar establishment, because that's the heart of our business and the heart of what we do and the heart of how we bring community to the people that come through our space. And then we can talk a little bit about how we pivoted during this COVID environment and the quarantine and what challenges our clients have seen and what we've seen as business owners.
Right. So I think, the reason why Pure Space has continued to grow and exist is, yes, ultimately we are looking to educate our clients as to how they can better improve their health and wellness. And it's something that we can only provide the tools for. They have to go away. They have to make the effort in order for them to benefit from a lifestyle change. And that's really what it comes down to. So we are there to provide them with those tools. And we have found that having that very personal connection with our clients is really what helps them understand and transform into a better, healthier version of themselves. Because most of our clients are fabulous anyway. It's just a matter of making them a better version of that and letting them understand that. So we offer the formats, the exercise component, whether they're looking to bring a yoga or a cardiovascular spin or a little bit of everything, maybe Pilates that's focusing on a little bit more, or a TRX, which is going back to your strength. They get to pick and choose what we find are the essential formats, that because there's so many formats that exist out there, and then they gravitate towards something that they like. We always find that that's how clients start, and that's where we want them to start, because that forms the habit. And then once they form the habit and they're sticking with it and they're enjoying the community, because we have a great community that exists in Pure Space as well, and I think that's a big reason why a lot of our clients do want to come back, because they want to be around those people that also want to do better for themselves as far as their wellness goes as well. And then we have a great pool of instructors as well, who in essence are there to help educate and facilitate and help the clients, no matter which class these clients choose to be in. So we are all encouraging the same thing at the end of the day. And we are also looking to get them to try different things, because sometimes, Pilates might be something you haven't tried, or yoga hasn't been something that you've tried. You're like, that's not for me. And we just like, try it. And I'd say, and Sarah can agree with me, 90% of the time, once they try it, they're like, oh my goodness, why didn't I do that? So it's trying to bring a well-rounded ability for them to work so that they don't injure themselves. Because I'd say our age demographic ranges from, as young as 15, to as high as 85. But majority of our clients fall into that age demographic of around 35 to 55. So the 35-year-olds are still, more than likely not going to injure themselves that quickly. But your 45 and on, if you're not careful and you do repeat the same exercise all the time, there's a good chance you're gonna hurt yourself. So we're trying to, give them that opportunity to not do that, to be injury free ultimately as well. So, we're a personable, connective, brick and mortar place for people to come to that are gonna learn how to take care of themselves better, not only through exercise in that short time that they're in our space, but then when they leave, they are able to still continue with those great habits if they're choosing to do something on their own, or just in the conversations they'd have with us in other aspects of their wellness, how to take themselves emotionally, maybe making better nutritional choices as well, just very generic, based on stuff like that. So I'm hoping that answered your question.
I think one of the most important things that you just said, and one of the things that I think that we've seen coming through the Pure Space doors, but also that's pretty rampant throughout the world really, is that with the need to balance our plates and, working so much and technology having invaded our lives, that the wellness component sort of takes a sideline. A lot of people do know how to exercise. A lot of people do know how to work that into their routines. But one of the things that I think that Pure Space does really well, and that specifically the Jacobsberger clientele, who, as you know, are divorcing clients or clients going through family law issues and have a high level of stress and anxiety, it allows them to focus on some more of the wellness aspects. So we do fold in massage, we have nice meditation, we have some Reiki practice, as well as the traditional formats.
Correct.
I think also the community aspect, as you mentioned, is really important. The relationships that the clients form with their trainers, the relationships that the clients form with each other. This brings an aspect of connectivity, which boosts, I would say, social connections and therefore somewhat happiness. Would you agree with that?
Correct. Absolutely.
Now, obviously, along with the rest of the world, our brick and mortar studio has suffered some challenges during this COVID time and this quarantine. And unfortunately, we've been forced to close the physical doors to Pure Space. So we've been operating in this virtual realm for a little over a month now. And I'd like to talk a little bit about how we were able to pivot the business and what kind of connection we've seen and what people at home who might not be a part of the Pure Space community, but who are looking for a way to keep integrating wellness and health in their life on a regular basis while they continue to be in quarantine can experience. Can you talk a little bit about how that's happened and what we can provide our listeners and our watchers with today by way of some tips and tricks that we've learned from operating Pure Space on a virtual format?
Sure. You know, that was one of the first concerns Sarah and I had when we knew that we had to close the doors is how can we just keep our clients moving? Because we know at this stage in your life with all the extra stresses and pressures and emotions that come into all this uncertainty that's happening in our lives, by just elevating those endorphins through exercise, you just feel so much better for it. So we automatically converted to some online options, you know, through Zoom, and we got a very small skeleton scale going just to start, just to test it out, and we just saw that the clients instantly wanted something like that in their lives. And you know, all of them are missing, you know, being in the space, because there is something very unique about Pure Space. You walk into the building, and Sarah and I can't explain it to you here. It would be better if Sarah was interviewing a client of ours and maybe they could give you an idea, but there's an essence. There's something about it that is just so welcoming and pulls you in. So your clients are missing that. But at the same time, it gives them a sense of routine, which they're happy for. It brings them in front of somebody that they totally trust. You know, obviously they're signing up for the instructor, they know the instructor. Then they get to see, when the Zoom call's about to start, all their other, you know, clients that are joining, that they haven't seen the situation. And then there's a little bit of back and forth, you know, before the class starts. But once it starts, ultimately, you know, then you're exercising, or, you know, every now and again, a little bit of talking might go in between with the clients. But they were definitely missing that routine. They all love to work out because they know the benefit that comes at the end of it. And they were missing that. So for our clients who already worked out, it was just a continuation in their home. Now, you're limited when you're in your home. Pilates specifically, there's a lot of equipment involved. Yoga, you have blocks and balls, and most people have a mat, some people don't. There's spin bikes, there's TRX straps, there's all these different things. So definitely some of our classes, we say to the clients, look, we want to add a little weights in today, but you don't have them, no problem. Grab yourself some water bottles. Everybody has water bottles. You don't have water bottles, grab a can of soup. Like, there's so many different, you just need a light weight. You don't need these heavy weights. In Pilates, we have these little soft balls that create resistance. Not everybody has those in their house. So what do we suggest they use? A pillow, a stuffed animal. Like, there's so many ways that you can still integrate. And then if you don't want to use that, if you feel uncomfortable, then don't. Like, we can still keep you moving. There's no need, because this isn't going on and on and on. It's for a period of time that we're trying to achieve something. We can always get you to work out, you know?
I recall that one of our bar instructors was saying that because she didn't have a portable bar at home, people were using folding chairs or tables or hanging on to pieces of their houses outside when it was a nice day, or playground equipment. And I think the answer here is creativity. If we can be creative and the clients can be creative, and there's a screen between the two of us, and we can effectuate some kind of an environment where community has come together and the exercise can happen, that's the goal, is to make sure that people, as you said, continue to move and continue to experience the positive side effects, both from the raise of endorphins, but also the feeling of community.
Correct.
The virtual class format has been somewhat challenging, but seems to have provided a level of connection and a level of business that we didn't actually know could happen. And would you say that for clients who have not worked out before and who have not had an opportunity to inject on a regular basis fitness into their daily routine, it would be positive, even if it's a little intimidating for them, to maybe find a free class or find a studio that they might feel comfortable with and sign up for that, especially during this time where they might be feeling a little bit stressful, having a little bit of anxiety, the level of uncertainty. It would be beneficial for them, right?
Absolutely. You know, it's always hard to take that first step at anything. I mean, and the clients that come Jake and Burger, there's so many other first decisions they've had to make prior to this being another one. But look where they are in their journey today. So if you don't take that initial step, you're never going to know what that situation might be. And if it's not for you, at least you gave it a try and then it didn't work. Or maybe it is for you and now you're like, wow, this is actually super convenient. Because that's one thing that we found out with virtual training. There's no driving to the studio. There's no driving back from the studio. And yes, the majority of our clients are within that 20-minute demographic, but some aren't. They further out.
And some of the instructors are not.
Some of the owners. So, you know, so it makes it so convenient for you to just flip on your laptop, your computer, your phone, whatever it is, 5 minutes before the class is going to start. You're in your own home, which to me is one of the most comfortable places for you to be in. You could wear what you want. There's really, I mean, not that we care about that at Pure Space anyway, but some people just, you know, when they go out, they just feel they need to dress a certain way. So you're most comfortable in your home. You don't need to drive anywhere. It's super convenient. And then the instructor is right there. You can turn your camera off. You can be muted. You can have them on your full screen and you on your little screen. You don't even have to see the other participants. And it's, to me, I think it's one of the best ways if you're brand new to this to almost try something out, because no one else can see you. Like if your camera's off, no one's even looking. So I think it's a great time for people to try something different. That's positive. And at the end of it, it's very, very likely they're going to be like, oh, why didn't I do this sooner? You know?
So obviously you are aware that the clientele at Jacob's Burger is going through a particularly difficult time, especially during this quarantine. Many of them are either divorced or divorcing. Some of them are contemplating divorce and haven't yet told their spouse or ex-spouse to be. They may be living together in a home. The situation could be uncomfortable, potentially emotionally stressful for them, for their children. What would your number one tip from a health and wellness perspective be for them? In addition to trying to move physically, what do you think would be a great thing for them to take away from this conversation that they can kind of put in their back pocket and pull out when the day just seems a little bit gloomy or overwhelming?
I think the one thing that we all neglect to do for ourselves, no matter where we are in our lives, is give ourself self-care. So taking anything from 30 seconds to 5 minutes in your day to start. I mean, eventually that will grow, but just to put yourself first, just in any small given time. And that could be that you stop and you stare at the sunshine and you feel it on your face for 20 seconds. You know, just something about, you know what, all I'm going to do is focus on me for the next X amount of time. And then you go back to whatever else that you had to deal with in that day.
I think that one of the greatest things I've actually tried to work into my routine, and you as my former trainer and business partner happen to know that is very challenging for me, is some level of meditation. And I know that that's hard. And one of the things that I think that we've encountered as fitness industry professionals and just as people, frankly, especially working moms, have seen that people shy away from that because they think it's too hard or it'll take too long. What would you say to a brand new client walking through the doors who was maybe in need of a little bit of headspace, let's call it, and who was a little shy about taking that time for themselves?
You know, unfortunately, it's hard to tell somebody to do something. You can only share your own experiences. And that's exactly what I would do, because meditation is challenging for me even. But on the occasions that I do it, I always do better because of it. So I would always encourage my sharing an experience that I happen to have that would be positive and that merely took a couple of minutes as well. So for them to just give something new a try that they haven't tried, that they've heard is going to bring some sort of positive change, they just personally haven't experienced it themselves. So only by sharing your experiences, I think, will others then possibly give it a try, or you join them in taking it. If it's a new client, we do that as well at purespace. Sometimes we see that clients are a little intimidated by the space, so you take the class with them. As you know, you as an instructor take another instructor's class, and you do it with them just so that they feel a little bit more at ease. And meditation is a great way to do that as well. So if you personally experience it and the positive change, you can share that with that client that's in doubt about what they want to do.
I think taking instructors classes has also been a really big boost during this time of quarantine. The fact that we've had an opportunity to have staff bonding as well. So I might say to all those business people out there, who are working behind their computer screens, not only is it a great opportunity to do it for themselves, but it's a great opportunity to do it with a friend, because it brings a level of social connection that we have all been missing during this time. And also social connection, like I said earlier, boosts happiness. So it's an opportunity to have a little bit of interconnectedness and to be physically moving. Would you agree with that?
Correct. Absolutely.
Well, I really enjoyed having an opportunity to interview you, my business partner, in another realm today. I wanted to leave our clients, colleagues, friends with just kind of an overarching tip that you might give them at this time to sort of battle the blues that we've all been experiencing. The sun is starting to shine, the weather's getting a little warmer. What say you, fitness professional, on the ways that we can keep on keeping on during the rest of this undetermined period of time?
Well, take one step at a time, because if you overwhelm yourself with what could be, you're never going to want to do anything. So make little tiny steps, and as you take one, take the next one, and don't ever close off your opportunities. You never know what's going to be waiting for you. So take one step at a time, take one breath at a time, and don't worry too much about what might be. Focus on what is, and be okay with what isn't. If you don't like it, change it.
Michelle, thank you so much for being here today. Just a little shout out for our business, www.purespacestudio.com. Our virtual studio is in full force and effect. And your first visit to the brick and mortar studio when we open back up is complimentary. So come visit us. Hey. And we look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thanks for having me, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.